What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy Hobo Joe coming to you from the cab of my truck here in beautiful Oklahoma City. Today I'm gonna talk to y'all about a question I've been seeing a lot, and I'll make a disclaimer from the get-go. Now, I'm a company driver. I'm not an owner-operator, so I just want to go ahead and put that out there. But I do want to put my 2 cents into this question that I see a lot, and that's, can I make it on X cents per mile? Okay, that's going to be the title of this video. Can I make it on X cents per mile? Now, X, that's just a placeholder. It can be any amount from 50 cents per mile up to $2 a mile. But anyway, there's really only one way for you to know if you're going into, say, a mileage lease, if said amount per mile is going to be enough for you to make it. And that's for you to know the cost per mile for you to operate your truck. Okay, and this is something that from my understanding, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but this is something that you kind of got to take what we call in the Marine Corps swag, a scientific wild ass guess on some of the numbers when you plug them in, because some of them you're not gonna know 100% for sure, but you should have a good idea if you're an experienced driver. And this is why I always caution new people against going into a lease fresh out of trucking school, because so many of these factors you have no clue on. Okay, as far as how many miles you're gonna run and all this, you don't know. Like, and there's just a lot of other things that you're not gonna know. Little things that an experienced driver can fix on their truck themselves, you may have to pay to fix, and different things like that. Plus, it costs money to learn how to drive a truck, but that's not really what I wanted to get into. I'm gonna put in the description a link to a spreadsheet, a cost per mile spreadsheet off of OOIDA's website. I've used this to calculate up what my cost per mile would be to lease here with the company that I currently drive for. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to ballpark idea on the numbers that you don't know for sure. Some of the numbers you're going to know for sure from information that you're going to get from the potential carrier, be it if it's a mileage lease, how much per mile you're getting on your line haul, and of course your fuel surcharge is going to fluctuate. The truck, the fuel mileage, you may have a pretty good idea on what you're going to be getting fuel mileage wise. I would suggest going down a little bit with it, as far as not as much miles per gallon as you think you would get, and calculate the fuel being a little more expensive than what it is now, which I know a lot of people probably say, well, that's dumb. You'll have a higher cost per mile than what it'll probably be. Well, this is just your initial figures, to try to see if you can make it. After a month, you're going to go back and redo this, and you're going to constantly be updating the figures in that spreadsheet, and that's going to get you a solid cost per mile, because no one can tell you if X amount of cents per mile is going to cover the cost if we don't know the cost. You take the cost per mile, or take what they're paying you and subtract your cost per mile from that, and that's what you got left over. Okay, just my own opinion, if that what's left over is less than what you can make as a company driver, I don't know if I'd do it. So, I mean, that's just my advice. I know this may seem like rambling, but the main point I'm trying to get across is you got to know the cost per mile. Like, if you've ever listened to Kevin Rutherford, that's something he really stresses. Like, you should know that number at least for the last, month or 90 days or whatever, and you should have a, ballpark figure, from talking to other lease operators and stuff with said company. All this different, like, you can't compare, well, I did, X amount over here, so I'm, no, hunting. You got to know what it's going to cost you to the cent. Okay, cents add up, man, this business. Okay, that's something my grandpa taught me. And my grandpa was an independent on his own truck, trailer, authority, and all that jazz for 30 years. So I'm going to take what he says to the bank, man. You got to track every cent. So I'm going to put in the description the link to that spreadsheet, and just, do your best in, putting in some of the figures you're not going to know to the T. So just kind of ballpark it. If you have any questions, The Truckers Coach on Facebook.com. If I can't answer the question, somebody can. There's a wealth of information and experience. There's probably, dang, 500 years of experience in the trucking industry on that page and group willing to help you out. So anyway, y'all have a good one. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other.